Hello and thanks for joining us on the news on NTA International. I am Dennis Adegunloye. And here are the headlines. Vice President Kashim Shettima leads Nigeria's delegation to 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York. Nigeria achieves 96% OPEC production target in August 2025. And allegations of vote count irregularities emerge in Malawi's general elections. Vice President Kashim Shettima will lead Nigeria's delegation to the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly holding in New York, United States, between Monday 22nd and Sunday 28th September 2025. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokwocha, says Shettima, who is scheduled to join other leaders at the global event to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, will also join other dignitaries at the high-level general debates from Tuesday 23rd to Sunday 28th September. Shettima will also deliver Nigeria's national statements on behalf of President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday, September 24th. He will attend a special event on climate for heads of state and government to be hosted by the United Nations Secretary General on Wednesday, September 24th, where Nigeria is expected to announce its new nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. The Vice President is also slated to attend the high-level roundtable of the Global Champions on Adequate and Affordable Housing to be hosted by the President of Kenya on September 24th, and he will attend other bilateral meetings and events. After the United Nations General Assembly, the Vice President will leave for Frankfurt, Germany, where he is slated to meet with officials of the Deutsche Bank before returning to Nigeria. An explosion has occurred at the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Dicon Ordnance Factory Disposal Pit in Kaduna, killing one person and injuring others. The Dicon Public Relations Officer, Maria Sambo, in a statement said the incident occurred at the factory's old storage bunker for raw materials for production containing several expired materials. In July 2025, Dicon commenced controlled disposal of these expired items and successfully destroyed all the ammonia nitrates and the majority of other items. However, the unfortunate explosion occurred while specialists were concluding the destruction of the remaining expired items at the disposal pit on Saturday, 20th of September. The injured Dicon staff are currently receiving treatment at 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna, while the body of the deceased has been deposited at the mortuary. While commiserating with staff, families and friends of the deceased and wishing the injured quick recovery, Dicon assures the public that the unfortunate incident is under control and there is no need for panic. Now, in commemoration of the International Day of Peace, the Defense Headquarters is reaffirming the military's commitment to not only combating emerging threats, but also restoring hope to communities dislodged by conflict. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was the message while at the Durumi internally displaced persons camp in Abuja to share relief materials and comfort families.
21st September is globally celebrated as International Peace Day, a charter of the United Nations. The International Peace Day is dedicated to promoting peace, harmony, and understanding among nations and communities. It is also a reminder of the importance of peace in communities and encourages collective responsibility towards a world free from conflict, violence, and fear. At the Durumi IDP camp, officers from the Department of Civil Military Affairs Defense Headquarters are here with relief materials and message of hope for the IDPs.
We are trying to improve education, so that's why we are giving exercise books. The CDS said we should inspect their classrooms. So we are trying to meet those needs of food, we are trying to meet the needs of health, we are trying to meet the needs of education. So these palliatives now is just a stopgap measure while we prepare them to go back to their homes.
I think that this is a very good initiative that would help people see the military not as monsters, but as friends that they can actually reach out to when they observe suspicious relations around their communities and the society, because that's another step to ensuring that security is everybody's business.
It is always the armed forces that comes first where IDPs are. I want to say thank you to the military for living up to their immediate constituency, the victims of the insurgency.
The 2025 Peace Week is with the theme Bridging Peace Building, Development and Security. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now let's go to Malawi, where there are allegations of vote counts irregularities and in the country's general elections. The ruling party claimed to have discovered discrepancies in nearly half of the country's districts, while police announced the arrest of 8 data clerks for alleged results tampering. We'll get this report subsequently. For now, let's take this story from the Nigerian Air Force that says through the air component of Operation Hadinkai, it has terminated over 25 terrorists in a coordinated night operation at Bula Yobe and Banki on the 18th of September. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimene Jodame, indicates that acting on reports from ground troops, a force package comprising intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance and attack aircraft were deployed. Subsequently, the strike aircraft engaged the terrorists in 3 successive precision strikes on their movement routes and assembly areas, effectively terminating more than 25 fighters. The successful operation highlights the Nigerian Air Force's decisive support to ground forces, its resolve to deny terrorists freedom of action, and its commitment to securing Nigeria's northeast. All right, let's now go back to that report on the allegations of vote counts irregularities that have emerged in the country of Malawi following the country's general elections.
Officials in the southern African nation are keen to prevent a repeat of the 2019 presidential election, which was annulled due to widespread irregularities. Following Tuesday's general elections, both President Lazarus Chakwera's Malawi Congress Party, MCP, and the main opposition, the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, led by former President Peter Mutharika, have declared victory in the presidential race. However, observers suggest Chakwera may have lost his bid for a second time, with his first 5 years marked by economic turmoil and soaring living costs. Preliminary results released by the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, on Friday showed Mutharika, 85, holding a significant lead based on tallies from 3 out of 4 councils. This came shortly after the MCP alleged irregularities in 13 of the country's 28 districts during a press conference. Police confirmed 8 election data entry clerks suspected of manipulating data had been arrested around the capital, Lilongwe. The arrest came as investigations continued into alleged attempted suicide of an election returning officer who claimed to have been offered bribes to manipulate results. With the country on tenterhooks over the outcome of the votes, MEC chief Annabel Mtalimanja said the commission would not be pressured to speed up its verification work. Comfort, Fashion, NTA News.
Now, the head of the United Nations Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency, Executive Director Diene Keita, has arrived in Ivory Coast for a series of high-level meetings aimed at strengthening the agency's partnership with the West African nation. Ivory Coast is the first country being visited due to its status as beacon of hope for the region, Keita said. Despite notable progress, the country continues to face urgent challenges in sexual and reproductive health and rights, including high maternal mortality, limited contraceptive access, and a high level of adolescent pregnancies. The agency's partnership with the government has already contributed to measurable gains. Maternal mortality dropped from 614 deaths per 100,000 live births in 2012 to 385 in 2021. Over the same period, the use of modern contraceptives increased from 12.5% to 18%. U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday ordered an annual $100,000 fee be added to H-1B skilled worker visas, creating potentially major repercussions for the tech industry, where such permits are prolific. The new measure, which could likely face legal challenges, was announced alongside the introduction of a $1 million gold card residency program that Trump had reviewed months earlier. Trump told reporters as he signed the orders in the Oval Office, H-1B visas allow companies to sponsor foreign workers with specialized skills such as scientists, engineers, and computer programmers to work in the United States, initially for 3 years, but extendable to 6 years.
To $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States.
We need workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee.
In other news, major European airports, including Brussels, Berlin, and London's Heathrow, have experienced significant cyber-related disruptions. These attacks have impacted automated check-in and baggage drop systems, leading to widespread delays. More details from Comfort Fashion.
Passengers at major European airports like Brussels, Berlin and London Heathrow faced delays on Saturday after a cyber attack disrupted check-in and baggage drop systems. The aerospace firm behind the Muse software confirmed a cyber-related disruption at select airports, with at least 3 busy European hubs reporting issues. While the disruption is currently limited to electronic systems, airports are employing manual check-in procedures to manage the situation and minimize flight delays and cancellations. The cyber attack that struck overnight on Friday had significant repercussions for air travel across Europe. Brussels airport confirmed that at least 10 flights were cancelled and another 17 delayed by over an hour due to the system breach. Meanwhile, London's Heathrow Airport, Europe's busiest, reported its check-in and boarding systems, also supplied by Collins Aerospace, were affected by a technical issue, potentially causing delays for departing travelers. Berlin Airport's website alerted passengers to longer waiting times at check-in, citing a Europe-wide technical issue with a system provider. Comfort Fashion, NTA News.
Let's go to Russia now, where a farmer has produced a giant pumpkin that weighs over 900 kilograms. The pumpkin was showcased at the traditional horticulture festival in Moscow. Musa Baba Aliu has details.
This traditional exhibition, organized by Russian vegetable growers for decades, is a celebrated event. It serves as a battleground to showcase their expertise in producing vegetables in remarkably unique ways. Farmers from every corner of Russia, from the shores of Kaliningrad to as far as Vladivostok, converged on the capital, Moscow, to display their agricultural achievements. This year's event, drew an unprecedented 3,000 contestants, each vying for fame with their oversized harvest. The event highlights the skill and innovation of Russia's farmers who blend traditional techniques with modern science to grow crops of extraordinary size. Most of the produce displayed at the competition includes giant pumpkin, zucchinis, and watermelon that defy imagination. The star of the show, Alexander Chizov, presented his pumpkin weighing 969 kilograms. The fruit, roughly the weight of a small car, left spectators and judges in awe. It's not just about size, it is about patience, care, and a bit of magic. This one took months of work, and I'm thrilled to see it recognized, he says. Organizers say this year's turnout reflects growing interest in sustainable farming and the joy of cultivating nature's wonders. The exhibition continues through the weekend as visitors marveled at the giant sample local produce and meet the growers behind their natural marvels. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. More reports after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria's upstream oil sector recorded a year-on-year increase in output, averaging 1.63 million barrels per day of crude oil and condensates in August 2025, up from 1.58 million barrels per day in the same period last year. This is based on crude oil and condensate production for August 2025, released by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. A breakdown of August 2025 production comprises 1.43 million barrels per day of crude oil, which grew 5.47% compared to August last year, which posted a daily crude oil average of 1.36 million barrels per day. This reflects a steady recovery and improved operational performance across the industry. Notably, Nigeria's crude oil output in August met 96% of its OPEC quota, which is set at 1.5 million barrels per day. This demonstrates the country's capacity to meet its production targets under the OPEC agreement. Now, today is World Cleanup Day, a global social action program aimed at combating the global solid waste problem, including marine debris. Uzman Zubiru takes a look at the significance of the day.
Throwing trash on the ground, who hasn't done it, right? But every wrapper, plastic bubble, or a bit of waste that ends in the wrong place, the bigger the impact on our planet and on public health. But here's the good news. We can turn this around. How? By joining forces from north to south to collect and sort the trash that doesn't belong. Be part of the World Cleanup Day. With just 5% of people, we can mobilize the entire planet for a cleaner world.
In the meantime, the Federal Ministry of Environment says it has recorded significant strides across all areas of its mandates. Minister of Environment Balarabe Abbas Lawal disclosed this while reeling out the ministry's achievements since President Bola Tinubu assumed office in 2023. Charles Alpha reports.
Over 10 million trees, the minister said, have been planted nationwide since 2023, while preparations are underway to raise 25 million drought-resistant seedlings across 11 frontline states. The ministry has also established 195 kilometers of shelter belts to combat desertification and protect vulnerable communities. To promote renewable energy and reduce deforestation, the ministry distributed mini solar systems, solar street lights, super saver stoves, and solar pump across northern states. Vocational training and empowerment program for youth and women has also reduced dependence on fuel wood. Through the AgriSoil project, more than 978,000 hectares of degraded lands, he said, have been restored, while 13.7 billion naira was disbursed to 361 communities to boost agricultural productivity. In pollution control, The federal government, he said, approved a ban on single-use plastics in MDAs, commissioned $2.9 million recycling plant in Abuja, and implemented the economy initiative, which has created over 750,000 jobs for waste pickers.
In the ministry, we have agencies and departments working together. There is no alternative to us. So we must try to keep our environment clean, try to remove all those substances that destroy our environment.
The minister noted that Nigeria has issued a 50 billion naira green bond, launched the National Clean Cooking Policy, and secured renewable energy partnership with China. He said these achievements demonstrate the Tinubu administration's renewed hope agenda in promoting environmental protection, job creation, and sustainable economic growth. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says Nigeria must treat Lagos as a pivotal leverage to unlock its full potential and secure a place among the world powers by 2030. The governor spoke at the first Distinguished Lecture of 2025, organised by the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. Joy Ken Abakboya reports.
Delivering a lecture titled Lagos and Nigeria 2030, Projections of a World Power, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu linked Lagos's 30-year development plan to President Bola Tinubu's $1 trillion economic vision, describing the state as Nigeria's innovation and policy laboratory where key reforms are piloted for national adoption. He highlighted the development plan's 4 priorities: a strong economy, modern infrastructure, a people-focused city, and effective governance as pathways to transforming Lagos into Africa's model mega city and a global hub.
Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, we are resetting the very foundation of our economy through policy, legislation, and diplomacy. As the march towards 2030 progresses, we must keep our eyes on the goal, mobilizing every energy, resource, and partnership, redoubling our efforts to ensure that the bold ambition of 2030 do not slip away.
The Director General of the Nigeria Institute of International Affairs, Professor Egosa Osagai, described Lagos as Africa's growth center and announced plans for a new Babajide Sanwo-Olu School of International Affairs at the Institute.
We have defined the agenda for the world. The world is changing, as you all know, and Lagos has the anchor to drive Nigeria to take its rightful place in the evolving world that we are getting into.
We need everyone to join hands with his leadership. In joining hands with him, we are making sure that we win the race of the projections of a world power. The foundations are there. The developments are clear. The rules are in our favor.
The lecture attracted diplomats, captains of industry, and civil society leaders who commended Lagos for maintaining security, driving innovation, and fostering international relevance. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
Recently, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo of Kogi State inaugurated the Climate Change Agency. This latest effort to tackle climate-related challenges in the state has received a further boost with the establishment of an international centre for climate change and environmental sustainability. Jonathan Omajali reports that the centre is to be headed by an indigenous climate change expert.
Memories of the devastating floods in 2012 and 2022 remain vivid in the minds of many who lost their loved ones, homes and valuables. With flash floods now becoming an almost yearly occurrence in Kogi State, stakeholders from different sectors are stepping up efforts to prevent future disasters driven by the effects of climate change.
It is our support for interdisciplinary research, collaboration, and knowledge sharing.
The center will be spearheaded by award-winning climate scientist, Professor Emeritus Jimmy Aduguki, alongside other experts in the university.
The goal of this center, therefore, is to figure out how to use the very best that we have in terms of our intellectual resources, in terms of our research capabilities, to address the economic potential of this region, both from an environmental point of view, in addressing the flood issues, the climate change related issues, but also from an economic sustainability, environmental sustainability point of view. We believe that Kogi State and Lokoja can be the engine of a new Nigeria, the engine of growth of a new Nigeria that will basically harness the potential of the entire Middle Belt region.
We in the academia, we have been saying that such policy document, the university should be the driver.
As Nigeria, and indeed the world, race against time to curb the devastating impact of climate change, the center is poised to play a pivotal role not just in Kogi State, but far beyond its borders. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
And next is Sunday's weather outlook. And that concludes the news on NTA International at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigumnuyi.